Yep, BG is back.
By the way, I was in Dallas on Saturday, and there was a gigantic BG outside of this Western wear place. I took a picture of it, and I sent it to you, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that BG.
Right. But the idea was that you put B and G, and then you put yourself in, it's big, right? And I didn't do that because I didn't really want to explain the story to my wife and my daughter, and it really isn't appropriate at all to discuss the story, but trust me, it's funny. Just one of those things. Trust us, it's funny.
Yeah, you're the big gorilla.
The big gorilla, yep. Yeah. I talked to Tom Mock, by the way, yesterday. He was shocked that I called him.
I'm sure he was.
And
I saw Tom Saturday when I went out.
Okay, is it just me? I mean, that guy is amazing. I gotta say it. This guy's amazing. But is it just me, or does he call like in the most inopportune times possible? I mean, it's like he knows like if I'm every day we have a meeting at 3:00, and he'll call me at 3:00. I'm in a meeting, or at 4:00 I have a meeting. Actually, I have meetings at 10, 3, and 4 every day, and he seems to call me during all those periods, or if I'm on the elliptical at the gym.
You know, you could have made that 10, 2, and 4 and been like Dr. Pepper, the old commercial.
I could have. We've
got to change those meetings.
But you know what? The calls that I cherish the most is when the bird is in the background going crazy.
When he's home.
Yeah. Well, I went to lunch with him the other day, and that was one of his complaints: is you never answer the phone.
I know, and
I told him you're a busy guy. I said, Tom, nobody has the time that you have, so you got to take that into consideration.
And you know, and he's a business owner too. I mean, he doesn't have any time. I mean, he's got a business and he's got things. But I called him yesterday, and I had probably a 35-minute long conversation with him, and it was.
So he's good. He's happy.
He's happy, I think, for today. Or he was maybe happy
till he calls you again.
Yeah. Well, then he'll watch this and he'll say.
Did you put watermarks on his photos? For this slideshow?
I don't know if I did or not.
He probably isn't going to be real happy.
I know. You know, I should have somebody make him a really cool watermark. I'm gonna have that commissioned for him. So, you know, I mean, something as cool as like, I don't think we can get as cool as this logo is behind us, but something like that it would be good for him. So. Yeah. Tom Mock, truly one of the individual.
He's got a cool logo.
He does. Yeah.
He's got a cool logo. He just doesn't use it for his watermark.
Yeah, he just uses that big courier font.
in the neon green or whatever he can find.
Yeah. Hey, I was in Texas for a week, and I really enjoyed it. And there was one dirt track I think we drove by while we were driving from Dallas to Waco. Any place that you want to go out and see yourself, as far as like when you get to go out of state, you've been to Boone, right?
Been to Boone. No, I haven't been to Boone actually. Okay. No, been to Eldora, which was probably on my bucket list of dirt tracks to see, and it was quite interesting. So, would you like to get to Boone at some point? It probably doesn't really fit the schedule, does it? Yeah, we're always racing. I'd like to go back there during the Super Nationals, but my deal is I don't want to go back there to see the race.
Yeah.
I just want to see the inner workings of how of how IMCA can push that many cars through that many days and stuff like that. That's the kind of things that I like to see is, the computer systems, the lineup systems, the finishing, and how they can orchestrate all that and have those racers in line and lined up and on the track and not miss a beat. The things like that intrigues me.
How have you changed as a track owner and promoter through the years? Like when you started, what was your impression of the business, and how has that changed through the years?
Well, the biggest deal for us in today's modern age is social media.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation with some people back at Reno. Is when I first took over, there was one website that you went to, Late Model Racer, and you posted up what you had going on, put it on your own website. Now, I mean, it's every day, and my family complains all the time because I do everything in-house. I do it myself. Right. I do all my Twitter, my Facebook, Instagram, and I mean Snapchat. I mean, you have to do them all to keep up because you never know where you can find these people that you want out there to visit your facilities. So that's the biggest thing is the time that it takes to keep up with all that.
What have you learned most from social media?
it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
I mean, people always. I mean, every Saturday night when I go to the racetrack, people ask me, "Didn't you see that on Facebook?" And I'm like, "Look, I got to be honest with you. If you're a racer, you're a crew guy, or something to do with racing, you're not a friend of mine on Facebook."
Yeah.
And I can't do. And I just have to stick by that because of my family, my grandkids, and my own kids, and because I want to be able to put a picture of them up or our Father's Day barbecue, and then the next post is, hey, the track was junk, this and that, and that's the tough side of it.
Yeah.
But then the nice side of it is I can be at the DMV waiting in line to do a registration on a vehicle, and I can post something that can reach 15 to 20,000 people.
Right.
So,
do you have a preference right now? Or which one are you leaning? I mean, Facebook probably is the most effective, but do you like Twitter better? Or what's Snapchat doing for you?
You know what? Snapchat is a younger generation. It seems like. I don't do much advertising on Snapchat. We just give the behind the scene looks of things that people can't see, and we just got a geo filter, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Got that up on Snapchat. But I personally like Instagram myself, able to give videos. Obviously, videos are more effective than still photos, but I don't know. People just like to see what happens on the racetrack, but they've never seen like back in the back where the cooks are cooking the food and inside the tower or the scoring system, and it's the behind the scenes stuff that people seem to like.
That's what's interesting is we find for the Power Hour we find Facebook to be the most effective, but then like on our high school sports stuff, Instagram is completely dominant. And if we took the time to investigate, and to really invest in Snapchat, it'd probably be a different story. So it's very interesting stuff. Yeah. You look at your Facebook analytics. Where's your audience? How many of them are international?
Very few. It's mainly United States. It's California and Iowa actually, because Iowa is a huge race town, and that I got to attribute to my Race Feed X that during the Super Nationals they're advertising our Bud Nationals, which follows that race, and we get a lot of exposure through the Super Nationals, and then people watch the Bud Nationals, and that's where I pick up a lot of my followers from back
Iowa
east.
And back east. Yeah. Really good. All right, let's get to it. We got Richie McGowan Memorial this weekend. We've got a lot of results to get to. Again, this is a huge event. There's the poster for this thing. And honoring the memory of Richie and McGowan. Go back to the one more slide back. There you go. So again, IMCA modified, sport mods, hobby stocks, American stocks. They're about midway through the race. If you're just joining us, we're going to see a pause, and we'll see the fireworks extravaganza.
Yes, 2,400 shots this year up in the air. So
Griffith, you're going to be there, right?
Yeah.
All right, just making sure. General admission tickets $18, $16 for military, and kids 6 to 12, $8. 500 free. Griffith.
Camping and parking free.
Good. Thank you very much. Let's get right to it, to the results. Modifieds put on a heck of a show, right?
Yeah, 20 modifieds showed up. Probably seeing some effects of some guys wanting to check out the track before the big show this weekend. So it was a good display of guys, some new guys from out of town. It was nice to see. But Ricky Childress been struggling for a little bit and finally came out and started 7th, I believe, and worked his way up to the front and put on a good race and walked away with the win.
Do you ever root for anybody, or is everyone just the same to you? Or are you like, good for Ricky Childress? Or do you ever have like a moment of like, we're good for him to get a win today?
You know what? I like to see different winners, obviously. I root for my son, Brody, in the American stocks. But as far as everybody else, I just like to see different winners. And and obviously a guy like Ricky, a good friend of mine, to see him win. I know he's struggling, and to see him get out there and get a victory is super cool. But Roger Holder's doing good. Piker's just knocking at the door. He's going to get a win. Any week will be his week.
These are guys. I mean, we like I said, lately it seems like Griffith. I don't know if you agree with this or disagree with this or not, but it seems like every week we can call one of these guys as a winner. Robbie Sawyer, Roger Holder. You talked about John Piker.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Griff?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys on this top 10 that haven't won, and a lot of guys who have won that aren't on the top 10.
Yeah.
So that tells you something about the competition.
And Rob Sanders there in 6th place. He took a little break from racing and was able to climb in one of Bill Henderson's car and had to start deep because he hasn't raced in a while, and was able to pull off a 6th place finish. Nice. So it just shows that, there's some great competition out there.
Late models, the car count is not as high as it's been in years past, and this is like personally my favorite class to go watch outside of the sport mods. What's going on in this class right now?
You know what? They're just expensive cars.
Yeah.
You know, economy's down. Obviously, we see it. Everybody else is seeing it, and it's expensive to get in a good competitive car that you can beat a Steve Drake. And it's just guys are just looking at affordability and do this for a hobby. They're not doing it for a living. So they jump in a car that's a little more affordable. And
right.
I think that's why we're seeing the effects of the late model counts being off. But car counts are off, but you still got great caliber of drivers, and they still put on a great show.
Obviously, you know, with 7 cars, you could definitely have some fun with that, and that's a good win there for Steve Drake. Nick Bartels in second, Larry Childress in third. So again, I would go watch them with 7 cars because on that size of track, they're still gonna have a lot of fun.
Absolutely, gate price is $14 for late models now, and I mean it's a great price to see some great racing
and the power of those cars is ridiculous.
Yeah, they put on a great show.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
These are IMCA stock cars.
Right, stock cars. Okay.
And the theme of the stock cars is who's going to beat Steven Johnson. That's kind of where we're at in 2016. But that one right there, the 0 car, that's a new car that's coming out, and
nice.
And there's some guys that are gunning for him. Still a division that's growing, and new cars are being built.
What is this, like his 3rd or 4th win of the season, Griffith?
I think it's got to be his 4th.
Yeah,
I think he's got 7 wins. He said in this year between Bakersfield and Hanford. So the guy's on a roll. He's tough to beat. He's in great equipment driving for Mike Hill Jr. So. The guy's he's definitely got a target on his back, and everybody's shooting to, and they're working harder. The other teams that, you talk to in the pits are saying that's what we're striving is to beat Johnson. So it's coming.
All right, so these are the midgets?
Mod Lights.
Mod Lights. So this is Jerry Flippo.
Jerry Flippo.
Jerry Flippo with another win, but I'm telling you right now, here's my prediction. Anthony Balcazar will get a win here at the end of this season here.
Yeah, this whole division is, a lot of it, I should say, are the guys that are moving up from the senior dwarfs. And, Anthony Balcazar, Matt Mayo, Caden Cochran was on a roll. This kid just seems like he found another gear in his car, and he's driving so much faster. So any of those kids in the from 2nd to 5th will be knocking on Flippo's door any day here. I mean, it's really amazing how fast these kids are coming along and racing, and it's good racing. They're not they're not crashing. It's good, clean racing, and they're really picking up the pace. So it's exciting.
Because it's like sort of, obviously we know that Zach Forster was injured and is not racing. I mean, early on it was kind of the dads and the older guys. Now it's flipped back to the teenagers.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like Jerry Flippo, you would not know that he's a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on a roll. They got the car figured out, and he's driving well, driving clean and fast, and it's like he's motivated the other kids, and they're picking up the pace as well. So it's a great division, great racing every time they hit the clay.
All right. I'm trying to remember the order here. This was the midgets?
Yeah, these are the national 3/4 midgets.
Right.
Again, pretty good car count for these guys, but they had one. They lost a car, the 9th car in hot lapping. Kid got high during hot lap and hit the back wall, took a tumble,
ouch,
separated his shoulder. Oof. So, but still a great race. These guys, nice competitive cars, put on a good race.
West Evans, and then these are the dwarfs.
Yeah, CDCRA
dwarfs.
It's kind of an off night for these guys. Usually they bring more cars.
They're fun to watch, though.
Being a tough weekend, but we had all local guys, some local guys there, so it was good to see.
And then John Isabella with the win in CDCRA dwarf cars. And don't forget, Saturday night, get there. Huge fireworks show, the Rich McGowan Memorial. Believe it or not, 5th annual Rich McGowan Memorial. IMCA Modified, Sport Mods, Hobby Stocks, American Stocks. Go by and say hello to Grumpy Griff while you're there. He might give you a pat on the back and everything. Scott, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me in.
Appreciate it very much. Look for the coverage of Saturday night in the Bakersfield, California, in Sunday's newspaper, and we'll talk a full recap in next week's show. Coming up next, it's ANRA's week as they get ready for their spring nationals. It'll be 190 degrees out there, but it's the spring season for ANRA. Auto Club for Most Raceway coming up next here on the Power Hour.